The baobab is the object of many traditional beliefs about mother and child. Its trunk is straight and massive, its bark very smooth, and it has a tender heart. The baobab is the symbol of fertility. The baobab really has an odd look, and in fact they often say that it was planted upside down, as if its branches were trying to take root in the sky. There's a legend that says, in the final days of creation, the gods realized that they had forgotten to plant the baobabs, so they just tossed them down from the heavens. Toliara, the major city of southern Madagascar. Élysée and Tantel still have a ways to go. They left the capital 2 days ago and have crossed half the vast island with a single goal in mind: to find a baobab that is just about to flower.
We think there's a sort of hybridization going on in the baobabs. So I'm going to try and find out just how this hybridization works.
Of the world's 8 known species of baobabs, this large island is home to 7, and 6 of those are endemic to the island. Some of them are hybrids, and Élysée is seeking to solve this enigma. After the bush taxi, they continue their trip south with a zebu cart into the Mahafali Plateau, a poor, arid region.
Here we go. Just what we need.
The mystery surrounding the baobab is the mystery of the reproduction of all living beings, of the fragile balance of nature, the life cycle of flowers, pollen, and insects. The baobab flower, an ephemeral bloom, resembles a wild orchid. It only blossoms once in the tree's lifetime for a few days, and only during the hot summer nights. Tser and Dilf, 2 climbers specialized in trees, will be helping Élysée carry out her observations. Now it's Élysée's turn to tackle the baobab. She has spotted flower buds that might bloom at nightfall about 15 meters up in the tree.
The very first time I climbed a baobab, I felt right away that I was in my element. I was at home in the tree. I felt good climbing. I really felt good with everything having to do with the life of the baobab. And maybe I feel I was destined to study them after such an experience.
Look, the chord and the knots have to be taut all the time. And as you go up, this is how you feed yourself slack, okay?
Élysée, acrobat and botanist, now has to get familiar with her treetop laboratory. She's hoping to observe the flower blooming when evening comes, and to spy on some insects she suspects of being the pollinators of these majestic trees. This parched land covered by thorny savanna and shadeless forest is the land of the Sakalavs, an ethnic group whose character has been forged by their harsh environment. Twice a day, Dimbriza and his family have to come into this forest, home to many lemurs. Dimbriza comes to collect nature's gift. This is his only riches, a baobab that he has transformed into a water reservoir, a baobab cistern.
We're used to managing our water from day to day. The baobab is the cornerstone of our life, but its wood is useless. You can't do anything with it. We don't eat much meat. We're not allowed to kill the zebu. We don't grow manioc. All we have, in fact, is the baobab. It's my life. It's a mother to me.
Dimbriza has hollowed out the tree trunk down to a height of 1.50 meters. This doesn't harm the tree and allows it to continue growing. After each rain, Dimbriza's family collects the rainwater from the ground and stores it in the baobab, a necessary reservoir to make it through the severe shortages of the dry season. Here, more than anywhere else, water is scarce, and so even more precious. On the Mahafali Plateau, finding water is a constant worry. The water from the baobab cistern meets the normal needs of the whole family.
This baobab takes the place of the zebu. It takes the place of a cart, of the goats that I don't have. It's my only treasure. That's why I take such good care of it. If the baobab dies, well, I disappear and my family along with me.
For 3 days now, the little crew of scientists and climbers have been camping in the bush at the foot of the trees. At first, the villagers were surprised by their setup, but now they've become a regular local attraction. One has to admit they are an intriguing sight. Every evening, the group from Tananarivo attracts more locals, curious to learn more about these strange experiments being carried out at nightfall. For a long time now, scientists thought that the only pollinators of the baobab were lemurs and bats. Only recently have botanists discovered the vital role played by a certain insect, the sphinx moth.
The sphinx moth is probably one of the insects that pollinate the baobab. We recently discovered that it is maybe the tree's main pollinator. Since it is a moth, it can easily carry pollen from one flower to another.
Élysée, Dilf, and Serre are getting ready to spend the night suspended between sky and earth. Up in the baobab, everything has been readied to observe the blossoming of the flowers. Now it's up to nature to play her role.
Je te laisse passer dans la fosse d'abord, parce qu'on ne pourra pas entrer nous deux direct.
D'accord. C'est vraiment toute une expédition.
It's really a whole expedition just getting to the tree at exactly the right time. But maybe that's exactly why I like this work.
Parce que c'est quelque chose qui est très difficile.
This phenomenon is very hard to observe. You have to work at it. And maybe that's what I find important in what I'm doing.
Très importante dans ce que je fais.
There's like a shudder of nature, a stirring, sign of its amazing vigor. And in a few minutes, the flower transforms and opens to the world. This is a magical and fleeting moment.
Madagascar est reconnu au fait.
Madagascar is known for its very rich biodiversity. So if the baobab were ever to disappear, we'd lose a treasure. We'd lose our culture as well, and our identity, because the baobab is Madagascar.
Élise's research has just begun. She wants to learn all she can about the baobabs in order to protect them. No one knows how to tell the age of a baobab. These imposing giants of nature must surely be over 1,000 years old. Testimony to the island's rich biodiversity, the baobabs have centuries of Madagascar's ecological history engraved in their flesh.